There are certain people in this world who will never make sense to the rest of us. They are narcissists, and I'm not talking about that word being thrown around left and right, where anyone can be called a narcissist for one or two mistakes. I'm talking about someone who truly meets all the criteria. If you've ever been with such a person, you know it, because they don't just meet one criterion, they meet almost every possible trait of a narcissist diagnosis. If you've been with such a person in the past, this video will be very healing for you. It will help you feel more normal. If you're with such a person now, this will give you clarity about who you're dealing with. And if you just got out of such a situation and are still in shock, this will help you understand what just happened. To you, the first thing, they can be wonderful sometimes. Despite all the suffering they cause you, despite all the betrayals, the ways they invalidate your feelings or gaslight you. One evening they come home and they're amazing. They're nice, sweet, they have great conversations with you, they're funny, loving, they're everything you always hoped for. And when this happens, it drives you crazy because you think, this is it. They can be like this. It's not like they can never be what I want. Right now, they're exactly what I've always wanted. And then you start playing the game. If only I can make this last. This is the relationship I always wanted with this person. What you need to remember is that a narcissist can look like a lovely person when all their needs have been met. This isn't always the case, but for some, if they have their supply, if they feel validated and adored, and they're not lacking anything, then they can see you in the evening and be wonderful company. But what you're really experiencing is that they're wonderful because all their needs are now satisfied. The danger lies in who they are when they're trying to satisfy their needs. I like to think of it like a broken clock. A broken clock shows the right time twice a day. Most of the time it's wrong, but for 2 brief moments a day, a broken clock is correct. Don't confuse a relationship that works a few moments a day, week, or month with a working relationship. You have every right to be loved, considered, and seen in every other minute of the day. The second thing, your empathy toward them makes them treat you worse, not better. This very trait that can make us so special. Our empathy, our compassion. With people, our ability to truly see what's happening with a person or to understand, to see them at their core, not just blaming or judging on the surface, can be exactly what gets weaponized against us. Think about how often in such a relationship you forgive someone. Empathy is often the horse that forgiveness rides in on. Empathy is that thing that brings forgiveness in. When we understand someone, when we know their story, when we can see the hardships they've endured in life, the things they've been through, that seem to particularly predispose them to this bad behavior, to treating us this way, it breeds a kind of compassion, maybe even a kind of pity. What city are you watching us from? I'm very curious about that. You know, God, they had it rough, they've been through a lot, they can't help themselves. And this empathy allows us to keep forgiving someone, to keep making excuses for their terrible behavior in the present. And, of course, when we finally say enough, this person often shames us, shames that part of us that wants to feel compassion, saying, how can you? How can you leave me? How can you judge me? How can you not forgive me? You know me, you know what I've been through. I thought you of all people would understand. In those moments, their history and all the reasons why we should see them as deserving. Compassion can be weaponized against us, using our empathy that we're proud of. But the really insidious part of this is that you would think that the person who lives on this island with the narcissist, who gives them the most sacrifice, the most compassion, the most empathy, would be the person they treat the best. Unfortunately, the person living on this island with them is usually the person they treat the worst. For a narcissist, our empathy is not seen as a beautiful trait that signifies our worth. Our empathy is seen as their ticket to doing whatever they want. It's seen as their eternal get-out-of-jail-free card every time they want to satisfy their needs in any disrespectful or terrible way. And they know that at the end of every terrible behavior, they can always count on forgiveness. And because of their sense of entitlement, they expect forgiveness. The third thing, they're able to move on impossibly fast after something terrible. They did to hurt someone they love, which could mean you. I want you to think about the things this person did to hurt you. And as a thought experiment, I want you to now imagine that you did any of those things to them, that you caused that kind of harm to someone you love. How long would it take you to get over it? Not them, you. How long would it take you to get over it? How hard would it be? How much work would it take to forgive yourself, to get rid of the shame you'd feel, the guilt you'd feel for being what you might think of yourself as a bad person? How long would it take you? How hard would it be for you to get over it? Then think about how easy it was for them to get over it. Many narcissists will never apologize and expect you to move on, but even those who can apologize often expect that once the apology has been issued, the situation is over. And if you're going to have any feelings about the betrayal you went through, the pain they caused you, the harm they caused, they start becoming incredibly impatient and even angry about the fact that you're still making a big deal out of it. Why are we still talking about this? I thought this was over. Their response is devoid of compassion. By the way, this doesn't mean they won't grovel at first or make grand gestures to win back your favor, to prevent losing you. They only do this to get back to the status quo so they can go back to satisfying their needs so they can receive their supply again. They don't do this because they fundamentally feel bad about what they did. It goes against some fundamental moral compass they have that they now have trouble reconciling with or forgiving themselves for. What they want is for you to move on as quickly as possible because they moved on the moment they were doing it. In reality, for them, there was nothing to move on from. By the way, never let someone's ease of moving on gaslight you into believing that what they did wasn't that bad. In a situation like this, their ease of moving on has nothing to do with the scale of what they did. It has everything to do with the lack of empathy and compassion they feel when they do bad things. The fourth thing, when they're caught red-handed, they'll make excuses that are almost unbelievable, which, by the way, we might still believe. You can have evidence clear as day that someone is cheating on you. You literally found messages on their phone, and they'll say something like, "What are you doing on my phone? And actually, this is my private life and it has nothing to do with you." You wouldn't believe it. You think, "But we're in a relationship." Before you know it, you're on a different planet than the one you thought you were on, having to defend yourself for not being a good partner to this person who 3 minutes ago you found out was cheating on you. But this is just the beginning of shocking discoveries. In the next chapters, you'll learn how narcissists use even their tears as weapons, and why the most loving partner is treated the worst. Have you heard of Occam's razor principle? Occam's razor is basically the idea that the simplest explanation is the most likely. I found evidence that you're cheating on me. The most likely thing that happened is that you're cheating. What they tell you is completely opposite to Occam's razor. It's the most complex, ridiculous, crazy version of events that somehow leads to them being innocent or being the victim, and you being the perpetrator, even though you just found out about it. It's almost like the excuse version of Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law is kind of everything that can go wrong will go wrong, right? Or everything that can happen will happen. In this case, it's every excuse that can be made will be made, and even those you think can't be made will be made. Remember, if an excuse sounds wild, it's probably more of an indicator of the person you're dealing with than how fantastic reality really is. You didn't think I'd fit Occam's razor and Murphy's Law into one point, did you? If they feel deeply uncomfortable with the content of this video, they're narcissists. And that, my friends, is Matthew's Law. The fifth thing, even when you're at your worst moment, at the moment when you're drowning and you think they won't let you drown, they do. I think this is one of the most earth-shaking, reality-shattering realizations that people come to when dealing with true narcissism. They could see bad behavior for a while. They could see it consistently, reliably, predictably, but there's Something in the back of their mind that tells them, yeah, but if I was really in trouble, if I was having a really bad day, this person would be there for me. Of course they would be. We've been together all this time. We have history. I've sacrificed so much for them. I've always been there for them. We're lovers. We love each other. We're like that, despite all the chaos on the surface and all the friction in our relationship and all the challenges we've had. At the end of the day, we're there and we take care of each other. And in a way, it might seem like we never really put that ultimate test until something terrible happens in our life, until something goes really wrong. It might be a point of financial devastation. It might be a point of health diagnosis. It might be a time when your life falls apart in some very real way with your family or mental health, that you believe that in this moment, when the situation is tense, they'll throw you a lifeline, they'll be there for you. And at that moment, you watch yourself going underwater and they're not there. They stand indifferently or with excuses. In short, you can't know to what extent such a person will abandon you in crucial moments until those devastating moments actually happen. And for many people, this moment is the moment of true realization. It's almost for many people the moment they can never come back from. They'll never forget that in this moment, when they were drowning, the other person didn't save them. And you can't unknow that. It's almost like we can't force ourselves to believe we're in a relationship or married to an alien. And some people watch this, and it applies to them with a family member or parent. But it's hard to believe that this person you've been connected to in one way or another is actually an alien to you who doesn't operate according to the same laws of life. So we still identify with them and say, no, 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 no. When things really go bad, they'll behave like I would behave. And that's the mistake, that until total devastation, we still believe they'll behave like us, but they'll never behave like us because they don't operate according to the same laws. By the way, never be ashamed of feeling like a fool when it comes to this. This is one of the most stunning, reality-shaking realizations you'll have about a person. And long after it happened, you might still not understand how the hell this person was okay with letting you drown. Don't be ashamed that it's hard for you to grasp this reality. The fact that you can't really grasp this reality is a sign of who you are and your character and how much you differ from them. The sixth sign: they show emotions. But their emotions don't come from the same place our emotions come from. So it's very tempting when we threaten to leave someone, to see their tears, to see them cry, to see them get upset and think, oh, they have the same emotional register as me. Look, I keep talking about them as this cold, calculating, unemotional narcissist, but look how much pain they're experiencing now. Look how many tears they're shedding. Maybe they're like me after all. Now, it's not that their tears aren't real. It's not that their tears are an act. That's another false assumption. Their tears can be quite real, but their tears are not for you. Their tears are for them. They're experiencing loss, and that's what they're sad about. In other words, when someone hurts you and risks losing you, it doesn't hurt them because it hurts you. It hurts them because it hurts them. And their pain is the most important thing in the world to them. So they're capable of experiencing enormous pain. But we can't confuse this with having the basic foundation that our pain has. When we experience pain, it's often from a place of causing someone else pain. Our pain is our fault. Our pain is our self-hatred. Our pain is our reckoning with ourselves that we could do such a thing to someone. Their pain is that whatever happened cost them something, and that's where their sadness or hurt comes from. Don't confuse tears that are because of you with tears that are for you. The seventh sign that you're with a narcissist or have been with one: how quickly and seemingly easily they can discard you when it's over. This is another shocking realization. I feel like every narcissistic relationship is a kind of series of shocking realizations to grasp. And in many ways, the final shocking realization that people have is that this person, who they thought when they finally leave the narcissist, or when they finally stop giving in to them, would still be suffering or somehow would still be doing the right thing afterward, or would continue some thread of connection. How easily this person cuts all connections with you, how they can seemingly just move on as if you never existed. And any communication with them from that point on tends to boil down to an inconvenience for them, unless it still represents some kind of supply. If a narcissist can still receive supply from you in some way, then there might still be some passing interest. In other words, if they can still receive validation, adoration from you, if they can still satisfy their needs in some way, then they might hold on to that connection. But the moment you refuse to be their supply anymore, which means having boundaries, having standards for yourself going forward, the moment you're no longer supply, they discard you as if you never existed. And for people who have so much history with someone, in many cases built a life with someone, or were raised by someone or raised someone, the idea that this person could just cut them off and move on to another life with lightning speed is the most disorienting, stunning thing. But that's exactly the experience that so many people have when it comes to narcissism. This can have the effect of being almost like that exit gaslighting that happens on the way out. That feeling that this situation, which was gaslighting us the whole time on one level or another, this is like the final gaslighting that I made it all up. I thought we were soulmates. I thought we were that couple that looks at each other. I thought we had a marriage that meant something. At the end of the day, after years or decades of being together, apparently none of it mattered. It's like it was all just my hallucination. Whatever they thought about the relationship or how different, it was in their mind from how it was in yours. Your love was real. The relationship may not be the way you thought, but the way you loved, and the capacity you had to love them, your feelings for them were real. And the beautiful thing is that you can now take all of that, which you still have, because it's yours. No one can take that away from you, and you can direct it towards something that deserves it this time. And I don't care how late in the day you told yourself it is for you in life. I don't care what season of life you're in. It's never too late while you're still breathing to take all that love you have and direct it toward where it will do good and bloom into something beautiful for you and for someone else. The eighth thing, their emotions exist, but they come from a fundamentally different place. Narcissists show emotions, anger, sadness, frustration, even joy, but these emotions don't have the same foundation as yours. When you're sad about hurting someone, your sadness is born from empathy, from regret, from love for that person. When a narcissist is sad, it's because they're not getting what they want. Their emotional universe has only one inhabitant, themselves. This doesn't mean their emotions aren't real. They are real, but the source is different. Their anger doesn't come from a sense of justice. It comes from a sense that they're not controlling the situation. Their sadness doesn't come from caring about others. It comes from caring about themselves. And that's exactly why we get fooled so easily. We see emotions and automatically attribute our motivations to them. We think, since they're crying, they must care about me as much as I care about them. But that's projection. Their tears may be real, but the cause is fundamentally different. The ninth thing, they're like a bottomless well when it comes to their needs. There's no amount of attention, admiration, control that would be enough for them. The more you give, the more they demand. But here's the paradox that will break your heart. The more you give them, the less they respect you. Your generosity is not seen as a gift. It's seen as weakness to exploit. The person who gives a narcissist the most love, care, sacrifice is often treated the worst. Why? Because for a narcissist, your sacrifice is proof that they can mistreat you with impunity. Your love is not a precious gift to them, it's a control tool. Every gesture of kindness becomes a weapon in their hands. The more you try to be good, the more it confirms to them that they can do whatever they want. This doesn't mean you should stop being good. It means you should direct your goodness toward people who will appreciate and reciprocate it. The 10th and final thing, The entire relationship with a narcissist is a grand illusion. Everything you thought you had was one-sided. This doesn't mean your feelings were false. They were real, beautiful, and valuable. The problem is that you put those feelings into the wrong vessel. It's like trying to fill a basket with water instead of a bucket. No matter how much water you pour in, the basket will never fill up. But there is hope. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Now that you see these patterns, you have a choice. You can remain in the illusion, or you can start building a real life. Your ability to love, to empathize, to sacrifice, all of that is beautiful and valuable. But now direct it towards someone who will appreciate it, towards someone who will reciprocate, towards someone who will treat your heart like a treasure, not like a tool. It doesn't matter how old you are, what stage of life you're at. As long as you're breathing, you have a chance at true love, at a relationship where your goodness will be rewarded, not exploited. Narcissists may look like people, talk like people, cry like people, but they operate according to completely different rules. When you understand this, you'll stop trying to fix something that was never broken. It was just built from different materials. Your future begins the moment you stop investing your love in people who can't reciprocate it. The world is full of people capable of true love. Find them. You deserve something real. And remember, the fact that someone hurt you doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you encountered a person incapable of love. That's their problem, not yours. Your ability to love is your strength, not your weakness. If this video helped you, leave a comment. I want to know what this meant to you. Your feedback helps me guide future videos and is encouragement for me to know that there are people out there who heard this and it meant something to them. Now go and find someone who will be worthy of that beautiful love you carry in your heart. You deserve love that builds, not destroys. A partner who sees your worth, not exploits it. A relationship that gives you energy instead of taking it away. Your story with the narcissist is over. Your story with true love is just beginning.